Welcome to the show that teaches you the things your parents and teachers are too afraid to. The Helios blog. Today, modern women can't name a single benefit of marriage. You cannot make this up. Real life comedy.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
So she said, I think she said that marriage can only be synonymous if you're religious, and I totally
Well, there's no...
Yeah, I was just saying I
disagree with
appreciate
that.
the question because it does bring up a
Wait,
good...
you disagree
with Candace. She said that you can only, basically marriage can only be a marriage if you're religious, and religion plays into that marriage.
So, I mean...
I'm inclined to agree, yes.
Why get married for any reason other than for religious reasons?
What? Commitment, lifelong commitment, taxes,
to tell the world that you love your partner.
What? It's all about money? You are... Sorry, I was about to say a word that I can't say on YouTube. My video would get demonetized. I apologize, but it starts with an R. Trisomy 21.
Wait, I have a question.
Trisomy 21.
There could be a million reasons to get married.
The financial reasons you stated are fairly negligible.
Negligible. They don't even know what the word negligible means. Why would you use such a big word? If you give a try... Okay, I probably can't say trisomy 21 either. But we're going for it. If you give a trisomy 21 a calculator, they're bound to try to turn on a TV with it. By the way, shout outs to anyone that gets the reference. It's a certain movie about a drummer where I got that phrase from. Anyway,
I think it's mainly to just show the world that you love this person and you're committed to this person and you're having a...
So it's purely for social standing reasons, things that men don't give a damn about, and women care more about than men?
Ceremony in front of all of your friends and your family, and you're making that commitment. And if you don't have a marriage...
sorry, go ahead. I'll ask a... No, go ahead. Finish your...
No, and if you don't have a marriage, when you're married, speaking from somebody that was married...
Was. Noted.
There's a way that others who are married see you. It's almost like you're part of this group. You know, if somebody is a dog owner...
Again, that's something that girls care about and not men.
And then you meet somebody...
So she just related being married to being a dog owner. Lovely.
Else that's a dog owner, you're in this family, you're in this group. And so for people who are married, they see other people who are married, and I don't know if they take them more seriously or their commitment more seriously, but they definitely are seen in a particular way.
So you're saying it confers certain social benefits because of in-group bias, essentially.
Not necessarily.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What can let's say there's a secular person who doesn't get married for religious reasons.
Who doesn't get married for religious reasons?
Religiosity is not a component to their marriage.
Okay.
And you admitted, you said that, well, people, even if you're not religious, there's benefit of getting married. What can I, as a man, get from marriage that I can't get from a long-term life partner, like monogamous? Why should I get married?
I think for the same reason that I said, it's to solidify that commitment in front of your friends and your family, and maybe
solidify for the man or for the woman.
To solidify it to your own
let me
self.
introduce a word to this conversation called divorce.
Yeah.
So there is no
Brian, but like religious people get divorced as well. Yeah.
Precisely. But at least one of the reasons that someone who's religious gets married is for religious reasons. There's a religious motivation there. They're moving pursuant to their religious beliefs. But if you're secular or an atheist, I frankly see absolutely no reason to get married.
So I think marriage is it's like the pinnacle of the relationship.
the pinnacle of what women consider to be the relationship. Yes, but not for men. Again, winning strategy for men is like multiple friends with benefits. Winning for women is marriage. But the reason why, here I'll make the argument for marriage because this girl's an idiot. The reason why you actually want to have a marriage is because you want a stable family unit, right? Children are better raised by two-parent household. So the reason you would get married is to have community pressure on the girl to not break the family unit so that the children can be raised in a proper family and have the best chance of a long-term good outcome. That's why you would get married. So the benefit is actually for the children, and the community pressure on women to conform to the standards of marriage. That's why you would get married. It's not to win or to be the ultimate, and there are social benefits. The social benefit is actually for the kid, right? The child gets to be raised in a stable family unit, surrounded by people who are hopefully also married and have children, so that they grow up with the proper role models around, right? Stable community that isn't divorced, disaster, that has the proper dynamics in place. That's why. If you get divorced, it's no different really than a breakup when you have children. It's no worse really. You would still be paying alimony and child support. In many countries and states, there is functionally no difference. Once you've been living together for a certain amount of time, you are considered married by law anyway, in terms of how money is handled.
It's, you cannot get any more committed than being in a marriage. And I think for some people, myself included, I got married because I wanted that final level, that max level. I wanted to commit to my husband.
You wanted the max level, indeed. So women, here's how women judge each other's status. And if you want more information on this, go to my blog. It's realheliosblog.com. But anyway, I have an article on this. Women judge each other's status as follows. The top of the women's social hierarchy is married. Second to that would be in a committed long-term relationship. Third is friends with benefits. Fourth is divorced. And fifth is single, or, like banging around but still single. Okay? So she wanted to be the top because she wanted to be the highest in the women's status ladder. But that status ladder is not the same for men. Although there are many men that will not take you seriously if you're not married. That is true. They'll still consider you a young man. Bachelor and married men are treated differently in a business sense. But maybe not for the right reasons. But that is true. If you want to be in the upper echelons of society, you do actually need to be married. But if you marry a sketchy girl that doesn't know her place and treats you like garbage, those same men at parties or wherever at events will consider you to be a loser.
Been 100%. We had gone through lots of ups and downs, and we wanted to make it official. We wanted to give it
you wanted, not he. You.
A fair, basically a fair chance officially.
So what you're saying is you pressured the guy into a marriage that he didn't necessarily want to be in, then you tortured him and he divorced you?
Officially, and not just long-term boyfriend, girlfriend, living together. We wanted to...
Were you guys religious?
No.
I would hate to be a girlfriend after 20 years. Like, this is my boyfriend.
And have them not like pop any type of question.
I don't know.
It is just like a form of like serious commitment, I think.
What's
more than
your question?
religious.
Why?
Again, these girls care more about their own status than about what it actually means to be religious.
Why is religion related to marriage?
I want to know your standpoint.
I mean,
on
that's the origination.
it's rooted
That's the
in
genesis
I
of marriage.
understand that, but why do you think you should still be religious in order to get married?
That's not really the argument I'm making. I just don't see if you're secular, I see no reason to get married.
There's also,
and honestly, even if you're religious, the only reason if you're religious to get married is for your religious values. At least from a man's perspective, there's absolutely no reason to get married.
So Brian, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So if you weren't religious, but say you met a girl and you were dating a girl and you were really serious with a girl who wasn't super religious, but definitely considered religion important to her,
if she did, she wouldn't date somebody who wasn't religious.
Agreed.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, but go ahead.
Let's just say she was mild to moderately religious.
Okay.
You didn't want to get married. You just wanted to have a lifelong commitment, but marriage was really important to her. And like I said, you were really serious with her. You'd been dating her for a couple years. You could definitely see yourself long term with her. Would you get married for her?
You mean, would I do it because she wants it?
Yes.
Again, the frame of the relationship is that we do what the man wants. The man leads. So it's up to you as the man to decide how you want your relationship to go. If you want to get married, that's up to you. If you don't want to get married, that's also up to you. If you want to have multiple friends with benefits, that's up to you. If you want to have multiple girlfriends, it's up to you. It is your choice. And if girls don't want to go with it, that is fine. But it's not up to her to decide. And if it is, then you're in the wrong relationship. A Helios girl for you will never be the decision maker in your relationship. She shouldn't be.
Well, what about what I want, which is to not get married?
But
why can't she be the one to come into my frame on this?
Valid point. But there's no middle ground there.
There is a middle ground.
No compromise. It's
the middle ground would be girlfriend. The far ground is friends with benefits. The far ground on the other side is marriage. The middle ground is boyfriend, girlfriend, long-term commitment.
You get married or you don't. So are you saying that you would want... Are you saying that you would want her to be the one that compromises?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the...
What if that meant ending the end of your relationship then?
All right. Cool.
Here, I got this. Hold on. Out you go. Goodbye.
Okay.
So
I'm not. If a girl wants to be with me, you're not gonna use this as leverage.
Okay.
I'm not gonna accept that.
Okay.
You want to be with me? You can be with me.
Yeah, only cut off all your hoes before the first date.
Well, we can get into that later.
Would you make any sort of compromises?
What's
not
the
even
compromise?
that. I don't know. Just if say she wanted to live in a different city, would you compromise?
Or what about a civil ceremony?
Because does it all
Hold on,
the whole
one question at a time, please.
Does the whole relationship just have to be everything that you want, or
the man decides generally, but with the woman's input? So it would be girl says, I want to live in Houston, Texas. And you go, well, I don't really think that the weather in Texas is very good. I don't really like my job prospects there. I think properties are too expensive. But are you saying that you would prefer living in a more southern climate? And she'll say, yeah, I would prefer to live in a more southern climate. And then I would say, okay, well, I will research into where I could work and what I could do in order to accommodate what it is that you want to do, but in a way that makes it so that we can be successful. If I cannot find such a thing, then we will remain. So that would be called a compromise. But still, the man is making the final decision. Still the man is making the final decision, and he still has veto power. He can still say no, right? But if she makes a ridiculous claim oh, I want to move to Vietnam, and I want to live in a mud hut. No. You see? But, again, I would say, but are you saying that you would prefer to live in a warmer climate and so on? And then we can look into such a thing. You see? So, she gives input and she can have wants and needs, but the final decision, strategy, plan, and execution is up to the man. So it would not be a compromise. That would be capitulation, to just do whatever she wants. Well, no, because what she wants to do isn't necessarily the correct move for the family. And if she's not okay with your strategy and how you plan to run your life, then she should be with a different king, right? If she doesn't like the state's plan, if that makes sense.
Or are you gonna like?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It
All right,
does.
well, I guess then that just answers it.
Well, look, it's you guys want men to lead, right? You guys want you want men to take initiative.
Your wants and needs have been noted. I will see if they can be accommodated. That is leadership, right? I will see if they can be. I will think about how they can be. But not all needs can necessarily be accommodated. Not all wants can necessarily be accommodated. That's the point. That is leadership. Some things can be compromised on, yes. But not all things, not all the time, not in all situations, not all wants can be accounted for. And even not necessarily all needs. If the girl needs something that you can't provide or aren't willing to provide, no compromise will be made on that.
You want men to ask you out. You want men to pay for.
Not all the
Hold on,
time.
let me finish.
Yes.
You want men to ask you out. You want men to decide what you want to eat that night. You don't know what you want to eat. I'll pick what you want to eat. You want me to make the decisions. You want men to be dominant in the bedroom. You want men to be leaders. Okay, we don't need the obnoxious gesturing. But it seems like in these. So yes, I'm going.
Also, please note, who is the girl doing the obnoxious gesturing? The normal-looking girl who'd be a fine girlfriend, or the one who's dressed like a goth with a million tattoos, with a disrespectful, tight-lipped, not even smile on her face, with an expression showing that she is accustomed to frowning. Just again, no further analysis is required. Girls like that do not deserve husbands, do not deserve boyfriends. If you cannot capitulate, if you cannot submit, you are not a girlfriend, you are not a wife. So you don't get those things. You don't get a boyfriend, you don't get a husband. All you get is recreational use only.
Going to be the leader in those sorts of determinations.
Right.
Now,
in that scenario, sounds
the
like you're not
only
compatible.
scenario where I'm gonna consider marriage or consider something like this is if I'm in a relationship with a woman who's substantially out earning me.
Okay.
Only then, for example, if she even then she still needs to defer leadership to me, even if she's out earning me.
I think it's fair to say that's what you're looking for, and
Yeah, women are looking for marriage because they're looking for a certain lifestyle standard or whatever. Again, now these girls are going to disqualify Brian because he's not interested in marriage. And yet, if they had the opportunity to be with a man like him, they would choose him in a second and go against these beliefs they so-called espouse. But only after they're past their rock star phase, which is 18 to 23, when they're at their most attractive and most successful with men, where these girls choose to fritter away their attractiveness on banging Chad. Only after would they consider a man like Brian, even though they're idiots not to consider him now. Let's continue.
Yeah.
that's what maybe the majority of women you've been with are looking for, but it's not fair to say all women are.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Again, her disrespectful way of speaking already disqualifies her for a serious relationship. These girls don't understand. You ruin yourself in one sentence, and you don't even know why. That's the sad part.
Well, when you say women, in general.
Wait, what are you saying?
Wait. But so, do you mean in terms of wanting men to take initiative?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily all women want that. So
Okay, sure. I'll give you this point. 99.9% of women want it, and 0.01% don't want it. So if we have a population of 1 million, there's 10,000 girls that don't want it, and 990,990,000 that do want it. So you're right. It is not all. It is just most. The grand majority. If you go into the mall, you go into Mall of America, and you just look at a random group of people, one girl won't want a dominant man. All the others will.
So it's not fair to say.
I actually do think it's fair to say, generally speaking.
Definitely not
I think
feminist.
Definitely.
Hold on. I actually do think it's fair to say to use women in the general sense. Obviously, it's not all women in the sense that I could find you one woman who like approaches men or like takes initiative. I can certainly find outliers, but I don't think it's wrong to, for example, say humans have 10 fingers. There are some humans who are born with 11, but it's not
or 9
wrong to say that humans have 10 fingers.
Yeah, and
I think naturally, biologically, women are wired to be more submissive, but I think when you kind of throw in the lovely cultural stew of feminism and all these weird, just new social standards like the Me Too movement, I think makes it very hard for men to feel like they can approach women. Then you get women, whether it's cope or they actually are delusional and believe it, but thinking that they want to be more in their like masculine energy and making decisions. But I think that's...
Actually, if a woman is in a relationship with you and she's making the decisions, 99% of the time she'll be unhappy and ruin the relationship. You'll get the annoying, bitchy, disrespectful behavior. You'll get the talking down. You'll get the complaining about every little stupid thing. You'll get conflict over nothing and garbage like that. If she's making the decisions. Women are not the final decision makers in the relationship. Now, women can make decisions. They can. But they're either making decisions in their specific area of expertise. So, for example, you as the leader in the relationship can delegate certain things, right? You can say, I understand that you're better at planning trips than I am. So you can make the decision of what hotel we go to, what general places you think we should go to, and things like that. But I will have the final say into how we go there, how we pay for it, how we take the public transit, do you see what I'm saying? You're still the leader, but you've delegated some responsibilities where girls can make the decision there. Or you could say, I know you're a better cook than me. So when we go to the store, or when you go to the store, you can decide what specifically you should buy in order to make this dish best. But still, you are paying for it, or you've given the money for her to pay for it, or whatever. You pay 90% of the bills, and once in a while she pays something, or you pay 99%. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you are leading in the relationship. You are deciding. You are the ultimate decision maker. You're the delegator. She's the delegatee. You tell her where she has responsibility, and that's the only place where she takes it. So it's literally exactly like a dominance hierarchy, right? Where the man is the final decision maker and the girl does have some responsibility, some agency, some decision-making capability. But if she ever has any questions, who does she go to? She goes to you. Who does she ask for advice? She goes to you. Who does she trust to lead in the right direction should she not get something? She goes to you. You are the final decision maker. You are the leader. That isn't to say that women don't have decision-making capabilities in relationships. They do. They just are delegated by the man who is in charge, right? And the same would apply to children. Children can be responsible for their homework. They can be responsible for their extracurriculars. They can be responsible for, getting their shoes ready and getting their clothes ready and making sure they're clean and making sure they're... But ultimately, should they have any questions, should they need something, who do they go to? They go to you. That doesn't mean they're in charge. They are in charge of certain things in their sphere, but you're the ultimate decision maker. And that's the point. That's what is being described when you talk about a leader. Women are not the leaders in relationships. And it could even be delegated, like the girl is taking care of the child when they're young in X, Y, and Z scenario, but the man is taking care of the child in A, B, and C scenario. And that still doesn't mean that the girl is the ultimate decision maker, although she has her sphere where she's making certain decisions. Still the man is in charge, because the man has made the schedule, the man has made the delegations, the man has the veto power and the changing power to change what they want in that relationship. Again, I don't see how that doesn't make sense.
Largely a side effect of culture as opposed to your biological wiring.
Wait, so you think it's... What, I mean, if you had to assign a percentage in terms of women wanting men to be leaders and take initiative, do you think it's 80% women, 70%
I think that's really
women?
just a question of how many women really identify as feminists and have taken that as a core part of their identity. I know there are some statistics that say it's like...
Oh, I wasn't asking you, I was asking her.
I was like, yeah.
Sorry, what was it? How the percentage?
Well, so I made the statement that while women want men to take initiative, be leaders, etc., and you were like, well, it's not all women. And I don't know if you were arguing like...
I'm not arguing, I was just stating...
She's solipsistic, which means she doesn't understand that you use facts, data, and statistics to generalize information, not your own anecdotal experiences. So what she thinks is, because she has one friend or two friends that would never listen to a man, she thinks that not all women want a dominant man. So she thinks, therefore, that women don't want dominant men. What she doesn't understand, what she fails to understand, is that just because there are one or two exceptions does not mean that the rule applies. Just because you and your anecdotal experience have a disprover or two doesn't mean that women in general don't follow certain trends. Again, it's just a logical fallacy. Okay, we're going to end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Buy my books like Hunter M, Adrian L, Tom M, Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, and Nicholas. Shout out to you, most recent purchaser of both my books, Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. If you can buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. If you'd like coaching services, I do offer it at my email. That's theheliosblog@gmail.com. Just message me there and I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.